Sorry.
So I'd like to welcome you to Bangkok and to this first UNESCO Bioethics Roundtable. At the beginning, we'd just like, before we have the opening session, for people to just introduce their name and the country they're from. And we will start maybe from this corner, back row, and please go quickly around the table. Introduce your name and the country you're from.
Dr. Shinryo Shinaga from North Japan. I'm an American doctor. Thank you.
My name is Tanida, also from Japan.
Morning everyone, Ken Daniels from New Zealand.
Justin Wright from London, UK.
My name is Yuan from China.
Well, I'm Zhen Zhen, and you can call me Grace from China.
My name is Li Jianzhi, and I'm come from China.
My name is Qiu Renzhong from China.
Zhai Xiaomei from Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences and Peking Union Medical College. Nice to meet all of you here.
Hi, I'm Marianne. I'm from Philippines.
Hello, Neil. I'm a volunteer from England.
I'm Masato Motoki from Japan. Nice to meet you.
I'm Christophe Dikenou from Togo. Bonjour.
I'm Muhammad Nizam Awang from Malaysia.
Hi, good morning to all. I'm Michael Jodhirajan from India. Thank you.
Good morning to all. I'm P. Sindhul Kuran from India.
Ohayou gozaimasu. I'm from Japan. I'm studying in Hong Kong.
I'm Samantha Penn from Hong Kong, SAL China.
I'm Tomiko Yamaguchi from Japan.
Good morning. I'm Pornvipa Wattharachanagun from Thailand.
Wong Pen Chinhaprang from Thailand.
Sorat Hongladarom, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand.
Jurapon Pongwesarak, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, Thailand.
I'm Chitima from Thailand.
Pahon Kosia Chinda from Mahidol University, Thailand.
I'm John Weckett from Australia.
I'm Ian Volko from Romania, and I'm a visiting professor here in Assumption University in Bangkok.
My name is Tajuddin. I am from Indonesia. I'm a member of the National Bioethics Commission of Indonesia. Thank you.
Kia ora, I'm Lindsay Connor from Christchurch, New Zealand.
Hi, good morning everybody. I am Dr. Nessi, Professor of Philosophy, India, Kerala.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Nalini. I'm a pathologist from Chennai, India.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Amir Jafri from the Center of Biomedical Ethics and Culture, Pakistan.
I'm Naoko Kumar from Unesco Bangkok here in Thailand.
Hello, I'm John Buckridge. I'm from Eubios in Paris and Melbourne, Australia at RMIT University.
Sambula Vinaka, I'm Elise Huffer, USP, University of South Pacific, based in Fiji.
Yakoya Olip, I'm Irene Tafaki, University of the South Pacific in the Marshall Islands.
Talo Falava, Peggy Phoebe Dunlop, Social and Human Science Advisor, the Pacific Office in OPIA.
Arena Pollard from Australia. Hi everybody.
Morning, Morgan Pollard, Southern Cross University, Australia.
Good morning, I'm Mihaela Sharbula from Romania, presently in Japan at the United Nations University.
My name is Yan Guangwang, come from Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. You can call me Yan.
Good morning, I'm Sister Mary Josephine Rani from India.
I'm Sister Ramsila from India. Good morning, I'm Kalayasi from India.
I am Sheldon from India.
I am Ned from the Pacific Islands, Fiji and Samoa. Good morning.
I am Subrata Chattopadhyay from this planet. Indian citizen, working in Nepal, coming from Germany, moved again to India because of the political trouble. Thank you.
안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. My name is Jung Ro-yoon and I am from Korea.
G'day, my name's Ellen Kitson, I'm from Australia.
Good morning everybody, I'm Professor Aruna from University of Madras, India.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Karuna, I'm from St. John's Medical College Hospital, Bangalore, India.
Namaste, I'm Sister Daphne Fataru, I'm working at St. John's Medical College, Bangalore.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhang, I'm from Vietnam. I'm looking forward to discussing with you during the workshop. Thank you.
Und Grüß Gott, my name is Heiko Zude, I come from the University Jena in Germany.
Good morning everyone, my name is Chan Mayot, Assumption University, Thailand.
Good morning, I'm Srinya Sophia, Social Science, UNESCO Bangkok.
Good morning, I'm Father Vilat Amon Patana, Director of Robladi International School, Thailand.
Hello, my name is Miyako Kadatakagi, come from Japan.
Hi, I'm Pianut Chompununa Yutaya from Robladi International School, Thailand.
Good morning, my name is Chandran, I'm from Cambodia, and recently I'm a graduate student in philosophy program at Assumption University, Thailand.
Good morning, Philip Bergstrom, UNESCO Bangkok.
Good morning, my name is Tina Singh, I'm from Taiwan, and I'm working in the medical university.
Good morning everybody, I'm Jan Babczynek from Poland and I'm at Mickiewicz University.
Good morning, I'm Philippe Gozon from UNESCO Bangkok.
Good morning, Catherine Van Zeeland from UNESCO Bangkok. Good morning, I'm Frankie Keller from UNESCO Bangkok.
The four of us soon to speak. So I think we don't need any introductions. I hope you've all got a bag of materials and also an extra agenda sheet. And I should introduce that this morning in the opening we have Dr. Sheldon Shaeffer, Director of Unesco Bangkok. Then Professor Prapon Willarat, who's from a professor at Mahidol University, but representing the Minister of Science and Technology of Thailand. Then I will give an introduction to the overview of UNESCO ethics programs, and Professor Song, who's the Vice Chair of UNESCO Commerce, will talk about Commerce. And after these presentations, if we have some time, we will have a little bit of joint discussion. Okay, so I'll move straight to Sheldon. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of UNESCO Bangkok to this meeting. I think one of the first things you should discuss is the ethics of holding meetings on a Sunday. You might put that into the agenda later on. Just a joke. I want to welcome you very much here. I was fascinated by the introductions and the wide variety of countries and institutions here. I'm fascinated by this seating arrangement. I'm curious by the end of the week how you feel about it. It's almost like a maze. If you're in the middle, I'm not sure you can find your way out of it, but I think it's designed for the greatest possible interaction, and I hope that works out. Daryl, Dr. Prapan, Dr. Song, the UN Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, as you know, was founded for the purpose of promoting international peace through its programs in the fields of education, science, both natural science and social and human sciences, culture and communication. UNESCO is starting this week to celebrate its 60th anniversary. The celebration, in fact, will run for 60 weeks, from now until the 4th of November 2006. The 60-week format is designed to allow UNESCO to highlight one of its critical themes each week. This is the first event during our anniversary celebrations in Bangkok. So you're the first to have advantage of our 60th anniversary logo up on the stage. I will not bore you by reading through a complete list of the topics for each of the 60 weeks, which is almost as daunting as the number of papers you are expected to listen to this week. But I would like to mention just a few. Our newest mandate is to facilitate and coordinate the decade of education for sustainable development. I like to think of ESD, Education for Sustainable Development, as a framework somehow encompassing all of UNESCO's education work, especially that related to the shaping of values. Democracy education, human rights education, environmental education, citizenship education, peace education, and also ethics education. Each of these will be highlighted during one of the 60 weeks of the celebration. Other weeks will focus, for example, on UNESCO's work on human rights, cultural diversity, HIV/AIDS, bioethics, human security, social transformations, World Heritage Sites, and the preservation of intangible heritage, to name just a few. UNESCO was officially founded on 16 November 1945 in the aftermath of, quote, the Great and Terrible War, the war that could never be allowed to be repeated. It was founded, as the original Constitution says, to create a culture of peace in the minds of men. This was before one became more correct in terms of gender. It would now be written quite differently than that. But I hope you understand it was extremely important to focus on this issue of creating a culture of peace in the minds of men. It has striven for the last 60 years to accomplish this by promoting, activating, and enhancing the educational, scientific, and cultural relations of the peoples of the entire world. Thus, for 60 years, UNESCO, we hope, has sought to do many things: to promote universal literacy and equal access to education, to promote the free flow of ideas and universal access to information, to promote the expression of pluralism and cultural diversity in the media and in world information networks. It has striven to ensure access for all to information and communication technologies, to safeguard cultural diversity and encourage dialogue among cultures and civilizations, to promote education as a basic human right, and to improve the quality of education for all, to promote innovation and policy dialogue in education, the drafting and implementation of standard-setting instruments regarding such things as cultural heritage, principles and ethical norms to guide scientific and technological development and social transformation, to improve human security by better management of the environment and social change, to enhance scientific, technical, and human capacities to participate in emerging knowledge societies, and finally, to enhance the linkages between culture and development through capacity building and the sharing of knowledge. For 60 years, UNESCO's mandate has been broad, perhaps the broadest of any of the UN agencies. It has encompassed many programs, projects, and initiatives. Progress has been made, but a lot remains to be done, and the work obviously is not yet finished. So I welcome each of you to join us to follow along and take part in our 60-week-long 60th anniversary celebration. Each week on the website of UNESCO there will be the basic documents and materials that are relevant to the particular theme of the week, and I hope you can look at that when you have a chance. So we hope that over the course of this Jubilee we will be able to put renewed focus on the diverse and important work that UNESCO is and has been engaged in for its first 60 years. The UNESCO Bangkok office is the largest UNESCO field office in the Asia-Pacific region, in fact, the second largest in the world after Paris. This region includes 46 member countries from Afghanistan in the west to Japan in the east, and New Zealand and the Pacific Island nations to the south. We are a regional bureau, therefore, in education, in culture, and also in social and human sciences for this entire Asia and Pacific region. We are so pleased, in fact, that we have individuals, therefore, coming from a number of these countries and also outside of the region to this roundtable. UNESCO Bangkok is designated as the coordinating office within UNESCO for the implementation of programs on the ethics of science. This includes ethics teaching programs, implementing the Decade of Education for Sustainable Development, and enhancing the national and regional implementation of UNESCO declarations on bioethics, as well as the activities of the UNESCO International Bioethics Committee and the UNESCO Intergovernmental Bioethics Committee and the World Commission on Ethics in Science and Technology, COMEST. You, as experts invited here, have the task to question how bioethics declarations and international agreements that are relatively easy to approve at the global level can actually be applied to enhance the realities of communities across a divided and diverse world. There will also be dialogue on the ethical implications of many varied themes: organ donations and transplants, human cloning, human embryonic stem cell research, transgenic Thai papayas, dengue fever, HIV/AIDS, animal rights and culture. We need to learn from you how we can better implement UNESCO and UN declarations in this region to accomplish the Millennium Development Goals. Finally, in March of this year, UNESCO cooperated with the Ministry of Science and Technology of Thailand in holding the 4th session of the COMEST. We are pleased now to have here Professor Prapon Wilarat, Senior Advisor of the National Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology of the National Science and Technology Development Agency, as the official representative of the Minister of Science and Technology this morning. His topic, the implementation of the Bangkok Declaration on the Ethics of Science and Technology, directly relates to the practical expectations of this meeting, learning how we can better implement ethics in Asia and the Pacific. On that, let me again welcome you to Bangkok, and I present to you now Dr. Prapon.
Dr. Sheldon Shaeffer, Darryl Mason, Professor Song Sang-yong, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of His Excellency Dr. Prawit Ratnaphien, Minister of Science and Technology, who due to an urgent trip overseas regrettably is unable to attend today's opening ceremony of the first Unesco Bangkok Bioethics Roundtable, BBRT1, I extend to you a warm and sincere welcome. This apparently is a year of celebrations. The world celebrates the 100th anniversary of Albert Einstein's miraculous year in which the secret of the atom was revealed and our view of time and space was forever changed. This knowledge brought not only the promise of a new and unlimited source of energy, atomic energy, but also the ability of man to produce weapons of mass destruction. In life sciences, 2 years ago, in 2003, I say we because I'm a biochemist by profession, celebrated the 5th anniversary of the discovery of the structure of DNA, the molecule that is the foundation of all living organisms. By unlocking the secret of the genetic code of life, man and woman, a man in a generic word, now has the knowledge to produce better drugs and vaccines, to develop improved varieties of crops and animals for human consumption, to manufacture, hopefully, human organs, and even to cure so-called incurable genetic diseases. But on the other hand, mankind has also the knowledge and means to modify living organisms to use as bioweapons, to create genetically modified organisms, to clone animals, and even man himself. Although the science, the understanding of man's environment through experimental investigations is by itself a worthy and noble undertaking, technology, the application of such scientific knowledge, has ethical, legal, and social implications, well known by the acronym ELSI. Bioethics has been added to our vocabulary. UNESCO is in the process of issuing, as Sheldon has mentioned, a declaration on universal norms on bioethics, in which the term bioethics refers to the theoretical and practical moral issues raised in medicine and in the life sciences that apply to man and man's relationship with the environment. Consideration of ethical and bioethical issues cannot be conducted in a vacuum, but must be debated in the light of each society's historical, religious, and political background. UNESCO today has invited some 100 experts from developed and developing countries, from religious and non-religious communities, from societies of different political and legal systems to this roundtable to engage in an interactive dialogue over the priorities for bioethics and ethics of science and technology in Asia and Pacific. As regards the role of Thailand, in 2001, we hosted a WHO-sponsored multi-regional consultation on ELSI of the Human Genome Project. And as mentioned last year, the Commerce meeting was held in Bangkok. The National Health Foundation, through support of the Ministry of Science and Technology, has a working group on the bioethics of advanced biomedical research, has already issued guidelines on research on stem cells, both adult and embryonic. I'm sure the Minister and myself will be confident that the liberations and collective wisdom from the gathering of such great minds today and during the next 3 days will not only impact on the conduct of science and technology in the region, but I'm sure will have global implications. Again, on behalf of the Minister of Science and Technology, I wish you every success in your endeavor. I hope that our overseas visitors will also find some time to leave this room, this hotel, and see some of the sights of Bangkok, and even visit some of the regions of our unseen Thailand. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So now I'd like to give a brief introduction to UNESCO ethics programs. As has been already mentioned, the challenges of the burden of disease, science and technology, the environment, remain to be solved. The United Nations has attempted to cultivate peace and discussion and prepare the global community for a better response to the challenges of the rapid changes that science and technology has given us. Inside the UN family, there are several agencies that are working on ethics of science. UNESCO is responsible for bioethics and ethics of science and technology. The Food and Agriculture Organization for ethics of food and agriculture, WHO for ethics of health, and other UN partners such as United Nations University and the work together in an interagency working group on bioethics, and are trying to expand to some of the other UN agencies. In fact, a number of agencies in their scope work on ethics, and the definition of ethics is in fact could cover most of the work of the UN if we wanted to be broad. Let's consider some of the key areas of what I'd call bioethics that are focus of this meeting. We have medical ethics, environmental ethics, issues of science and technology. In UNESCO, we have external advisory committees to help prepare reports and develop instruments on these issues. And it happens because of a history inside UNESCO that the International Bioethics Committee was established in 1993. The World Commission of the Ethics of Science and Technology was established in 1998. So it has tended to develop work on environmental ethics and science and technology within the Commerce framework. Bioethics is an extension of ethics, balancing principles or ethical ideals of doing good versus not doing harm, trying to balance questions of respect for individual autonomy, which is partly the respect of human rights and human dignity, versus justice to all. And these are dilemmas which we will go through in the next 5 days of practical applications of how we can apply theories of bioethics in reality. I would say that ethics is pre-human in its origins. It has a biological, a social, and a spiritual heritage seen in biology, medicine, society, and religion. So, although these words may be new, clearly these dilemmas were dilemmas that individuals, communities, and our global humankind had to create responses to. On the structure of UNESCO, as Sheldon has mentioned, there's a social and human science sector. It's one of 5 sectors, and we have divisions, and then the ethics of science and technology is one of these divisions. There are a number of challenges for regional ethics, and that's why we've asked you to come here to help develop this network and develop appropriate answers to these challenges. How do we take account of the needs and priorities at the regional level in a coordinated manner between the headquarters of UN agencies in the field? And just to mention that the Asia-Pacific region is 46 countries from Turkey, Japan, New Zealand. The Pacific alone is 17 countries, and we only, unfortunately, we can only bring a few of the representatives to this meeting. So, it's a huge region. Each has its own unique culture, which needs to be respected. And also, we hope to be built upon to find answers and solutions that then can be shared with the global community. UNESCO has a role to advise and assist member states in identifying the needs and priorities, and also oversee the preparation and implementation of activities through this region with regard to ethics of science and technology and bioethics, in accordance with a program of work. And this program of work is decided by your governments. Every 2 years they come together, and we hope that you came to this meeting as individuals. When you go back to your countries, you will have interaction at the policy level and help to integrate at all levels a coordinated response to finding the appropriate implementation of the declarations that I'm going to explain have already been agreed to. We need to involve ethics and social science that is sound and rigorous into policies that will be sustainable, that will look for a long-term solution to ethics questions that we all face. How do we promote ethics teaching? How do we promote informed citizenship, that all citizens of the world need to be educated, need to be able to participate? And also we are trying to develop a regional database. But we should note, there are so many languages in this region. How do we develop a database that can be useful for the people across the region? And this meeting is one step in this process. There are international standards for bioethics, and UNESCO General Conference and the UN General Assembly the year later endorsed unanimously a Universal Declaration on the Human Genome and Human Rights that is reproduced at the back of your abstract book. So there is already an agreement of how we can implement bioethics in theory. But the question is how to do this in practice. There's also specific documents on some challenges, such as the International Declaration on Human Genetic Data. And at the back of your abstract book, you'll also find the draft Universal Declaration on Bioethics, which has been approved by government experts and is being submitted to the UNESCO General Conference in October. And it's expected to be passed. It will be in fact, it should have come first as a foundational work in universal bioethics, but in fact it's a very difficult challenge. So in fact, at first UNESCO worked on applied issues to the urgent need of the Human Genome Project, and now has come to reflect, I think, on a working and living declaration on bioethics. And I would appreciate your comments on this as we go through. How are declarations made? Well, the International Bioethics Committee in 93 to 97 developed this declaration through approximately 8 drafts, which were widely circulated over 5 years. And I was one of the members of this committee. We had 50 members. It was a very interesting process. We in fact met in a sense like a round table, discussed from many cultures, many disciplines, and tried to work on a statement. Several of the articles, I think, have a direct and important relevance to the priorities that we have currently in the UNESCO program. One is the promotion of education of bioethics at all levels, still to be implemented in many countries. Another very important area is facilitating an open international discussion, ensuring free expression of various social, cultural, religious and philosophical opinions. And in fact, this sentence, which we put into this declaration, I think is the most important sentence in the whole declaration. How do we ensure the free expression of dialogue on these issues? Sometimes the world becomes very political, but bioethics needs to have free expression. So we brought you here together we'd like you to have pre-discussion. At the end, we can inform policymakers, but in the process of intellectual discourse and interactive bioethics, we have to have expression of all views and expression of a range of opinions. So the international standards do provide a solid base upon which states and individuals have authority to develop more ethical systems of governance for science, technology, and health-related issues. We can ask, why are they not implemented? Who should implement them? Well, individuals, professional associations, NGOs, local and national governments, the United Nations, ethics committees, international bioethics committees. These are all different layers that all need to implement. We are attempting in UNESCO to have workshops and seminars to assess the current situation. This meeting is a rather large meeting. We also intend to have a number of smaller sub-regional meetings where we can develop sub-regional strategies and national strategies, work together with member governments to try to share and learn and implement. We have a challenge here to try and translate the declarations into more regional languages. And in fact, you'll find in your conference pack a questionnaire. Excuse me, it's perhaps an old habit. I'm always used to doing social science research. We included a survey. There are several declarations mentioned. I'd like to have your frank pre-conference knowledge of these declarations so that we can have an idea of, before you came to this meeting, if you were actually aware of the declarations or not. Efforts to educate and encourage educators to use these texts as teaching resources are important. There are many resources that have been produced by UNESCO and other agencies and other groups. These are valuable as teaching resources. And we need, I think, to develop explanatory notes in a cultural context to aid the practical implementation. There have been a series of regional bioethics conferences in Asia and the Pacific, a number of roundtables, in fact in Tsukuba, meetings in India, in Asian Bioethics Association has had a series of 5 conferences, and in fact the second Asian Bioethics Association conference was the UNESCO Asian Bioethics Conference in 1997 in Kobe. Inside UNESCO Bangkok we've had, this is the 4th in a series of larger ethics consultations and meetings that we've had, and we plan to develop more of these as focused on particular issues. Contrasting situations across the region. We need also a range of activities, and we don't have time to go into everything. You can read some of details in the abstract book. How do we generate sustainable ethics teaching programs? I'd like to learn from your experiences. A number of you are teaching ethics at various levels, schools and universities. A number of you are members of national bioethics committees and ethics committees at institutional level. How do we develop? How do we build up capacity? We want to network partners for the development of ethics teaching, to develop influence at the policy level. UNESCO is developing a comprehensive database of experts, existing professional networks, international legal instruments, national legislation, codes of ethics, institutions, current teaching curriculum, and research activities in bioethics. This is under the framework of a global ethics observatory called GEO and regional databases. And GEO will be launched in the middle of December at the meeting of the International Bioethics Committee in Japan. And the first stage of GEO is an international network of experts. And some of you, I know, have already received questionnaires from Paris to respond to. We also, as part of a questionnaire, you can give us some response on this as well. And we will feed the data in a coordinated manner. And the project on teaching curriculum, you will be receiving in the next few months, this expanding network will be receiving more specific details and instructions on how to respond to our survey to input data. But for our office in Bangkok, we also very much want to map immediately the teaching programs and develop. We need to assemble free access teaching resources, and there is a meeting on Tuesday evening for those involved in Bioethics Education Textbook Project, and please see me about this during the next couple of days to receive more information if you don't already know this. Ethics teaching, great challenge. How do you give a lecture on ethics to 800 students? In fact, I went a month ago to this same school, and there were 2,500 students in the room. So how do you really give a lecture to that size of audience? That would be meaningful. So great range of challenges here. We have a network on bioethics, on Yahoo groups, and we're trying to develop this project, and about half of you are already involved in this bioethics education teaching. We want to expand this. It's one of the priorities in 2006-2007 for UNESCO in this region, is development of ethics teaching programs. We have some objectives already of bioethics education. How do we produce cross-cultural materials? How do we produce textbooks that can be used in school, textbooks that can be used in university classes, in different cultural contexts, in different languages? So we have a network of teachers. We'd like you to join us and to share your experience, and when we go back to your country, to be focal points for this. Very important challenge to develop evaluation materials and methods for bioethics education. Despite universal declarations that proclaim its importance, there's, I think, only 5 or 6 papers I know of that have ever evaluated bioethics education in a sound or scientific manner. So does it really work in all these cultures? We assume it does, we believe it does, but we need to get real data to inform us and direct the improvement of programs. How do we collect materials? So our website in Bangkok is a repository for materials. We're gathering more. We're linking to others who are doing the same thing. There is a second edition textbook available. Here we're going to discuss in a group of the chapter authors and others, and everyone is welcome. We want to find more partner schools, universities, to gather more cross-cultural data. Why do we do bioethics education? Well, freedom of expression is, I think, one of the principles of bioethics. Article 19 of the 1948 Declaration of Human Rights upholds the freedom to hold opinions without interference. Article 21 of the Universal Declaration on Human Genome and Human Rights, as I've already shown you, states should undertake to facilitate on this subject an open international discussion, ensuring a free expression of various social, cultural, religious and philosophical opinions. It's a great challenge when many people still not educated in many of these issues. Many cultures don't allow free expression. In terms of the social systems that we find for any example of interaction between public and government, expert and citizen, we have models from paternalistic models on your left through informed consent models to informed choice models. And every country in the world was paternalistic until I think 1960. In the 1960s we had the civil rights movements, we had various developments which started to shift some countries towards an informed choice model. In this region we have a great range. We have countries at the extremes of both informed choice and paternalistic models. But every society is undergoing a transition. It's not good enough just to say, my culture today is in this state. In fact, every culture is undergoing a transition, and we have to prepare for this transition. The information age is moving us in this way. The programs of education, the programs of empowerment of citizens are moving us in this way. How do we develop people so that their choices are actually informed? This is a challenge. How do we form a mature society of well-informed and balanced persons? I think bioethically mature means a person or society that can balance the benefits and risks of alternative options, make well-considered decisions and talk about it. There are other priorities which will be talked about both in the IBC introduction, which I will give, and in the Commerce introduction, which Professor Song will give. And already Sheldon has mentioned this is a decade for education for sustainable development. So, UNESCO ethics committees, we have a International Bioethics Committee, IBC, which from 1998 changed its statutes from an independent group of 52 scholars to a group of 36 independent experts, but only one per country, with a matching and complementary intergovernmental bioethics committee with government-appointed members, comprised of 36 member states who rotate in the membership, and the World Commission of Ethics of Science and Technology Commerce. And these committees cooperate to produce advice, recommendation, and proposals that each submits to the Director General of UNESCO for consideration by the governing bodies, which is your member countries. Let me introduce the IBC. 1993, the creation of the IBC. 1998, adoption of statutes of the Executive Board, and also the setting up of the IGBC, Intergovernmental Committee. The tasks are to promote reflection on the ethical and legal issues raised by research in life sciences and applications, to encourage action to heighten awareness among the actors concerned, to cooperate with other institutions concerned by the issues raised in the field of bioethics, and can contribute to the implementation of UNESCO declarations. And as I noted from November, we expect to be implementing 3 declarations. The membership is 36 members. They have a 4-year term. They are independent experts acting in their personal capacity. They are specialists in life sciences, in the social and human sciences, including law, human rights, philosophy, education, and communication. There's criteria for cultural diversity, gender, balanced geographical representation, and plural disciplinarity. And here's a listing of some of the disciplines of current members. There are plenary sessions and working groups. The next plenary session will be in December in Japan, in Tokyo, hosted by Sophia University and the National Commission of UNESCO of Japan. Recommendations are given. They go to the Director General. The Intergovernmental Bioethics Committee makes comments on these. These go to member states, other institutions, and we hope to the general public. A number of reports have been issued, and it's a growing list of reports. These are specialized on particular topics. Generally, they're on human and medical ethics. The only exception is food, plant, biotechnology, and ethics, 1995. And there's all the others are really on medical ethics topics and genetics topics. From thoughts to action. The intellectual forum function is to try and promote multidisciplinary, pluralistic and multicultural reflection on the ethical and legal issues raised by research in life science and our applications. IBC members are open, and so if you would wish to receive an invitation, then you should indicate that to ourselves in the regional office or headquarters, and invitations will be sent out, but not with any funding to attend, on your own resources. And then you can join in this dialogue. Advisory role and capacity building. This is to contribute to help member states wishing to promote reflection and debate on bioethics to set up proper mechanisms to do so. We are trying as regional offices to work with IBC, and there are several members in this group of UNESCO ethics committees, both previous members who've shared, in fact, been on the IBC with me together, from Indonesia, for example, and others who are coming to this meeting from Vietnam, from the Philippines. And there are also members of the Comest here. From thoughts to action. Clearly a standard-setting role is very important, and I've introduced these two declarations already. The Declaration on Universal Norms and Bioethics, it's actually called the Declaration on Universal Bioethics, probably, as it seems to be a more acceptable title. The General Conference will decide, and there's a website at headquarters where you can get more information. So I'd like to pass to Professor Song, who will explain the Comest Committee.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to talk to you this morning. In addition to bioethics, which became extremely important in the 1990s, there are various areas in science technology whose ethical problems are also important. And Comest, the creation of Comest in the UNESCO is the response to such challenges. Comest was established in 1998. It consists of 18 members from all over the world. They are selected by a Director General of UNESCO after consulting the national authorities and academies of member nations. They are drawn from many different fields, including science, engineering, philosophy, religion, law, and politics, and so on. The first president of Comest was Vigdis Finnbogadottir, former president of Iceland, and the second chair was Erik Fenstad, Jens Erik Fenstad from Norway. He was former rector of Oslo University, specializing in mathematical logic. And presently, the third president is Pilar Armanet from Chile. She's a lawyer, journalist, and government official. And we had 4 ordinary sessions so far. First in Oslo, yes, in Berlin, Rio de Janeiro, and Bangkok in March this year. The second, and we have extraordinary session in intervening years. Next year we are going to meet somewhere in Africa, probably in Nigeria. And The task of comments you will see on the screen. To formulate on a scientific basis ethical principles that can shed light on the various choices and impacts occasioned by new advancements in scientific and technological fields, thus fostering a constructive ethical dialogue on the values at stake. And the mandate of COMES, advisory body of UNESCO, intellectual forum for the exchange of ideas and experience, detect early signs of risk situations associated with science and technology, promote dialogue between scientific community, decision makers, and the public at large. In the early period of commerce, there are many different areas in the ethics of science technology, but we have concentrated on information technology, ethics of fresh water, and environmental ethics. Now, we are doing projects on 5 different fields simultaneously, and for last year and this year, environmental ethics, ethical code of conduct for scientists, and ethics of outer space, and ethics of emerging technology, including nanotechnology and GMOs, and teaching ethics were the main issues. And these projects are supported by the decision of the session of Executive Board of UNESCO last year. 4 decisions you will see on the screen. And for the for the coming years, 2004 to 9, the simultaneous work being done now. First, ethics of outer space. There have been expert meetings and special meetings. And we see some progress, and we are cooperating with other ethics committee of other organizations in the United Nations, like Space Agency and so on. And no. Concerning the ethical code of conduct for scientists, personally, I was involved in this project, and this is actually the follow-up of the decisions made at the World Science Conference in Budapest in 1999, and it was decided that UNESCO, along with ICSU, International Council of Scientific Unions, will